Ben, can you hear me? Hang on, Bubba. Ben, can't hear you.
There we go. Hopefully you can hear me now. Right. So, okay. So just where we at? Let's go through that again. Welcome to the channel, everyone.
You can't go on that one, Malachi.
F1 Grand Prix. It's live here. We're going to do a live follow along, and we're going to have
You can't go on that one, Malachi.
Timing screens on top of that as well.
Malachi, I can't unlock that one.
And what has been so we'll go through the list of the grid in a second, but in what is a significant impact on the title race, a 5-place grid penalty was applied to Hamilton a couple of hours ago, which means Verstappen is starting from 7th. Hamilton starts on pole. Second is Gasly in the AlphaTauri. He's going to be chasing Hamilton down the long straight to the corner, and behind him is Fernando Alonso. Then Norris in 4th. Carlos Sainz moves up to 5th. Bottas in 6th after a 3-place grid penalty for an infringement in single yellow flag conditions. Verstappen with the double yellow flag conditions, as I mentioned, a 5-place grid penalty leaves him down in 7th. Tsunoda is in 8th. Ocon is in 9th, and Vettel makes up your top 10. So an interesting grid, a mixed grid there on a track that has been described as difficult or could be difficult to overtake. Strategy may be key here. And be interesting to see what Red Bull are going to do in terms of strategy. Now, presumably, you would think, and I'll just bring Jordan in on this in a second. I had to meet you there, John, while you had Malachi in the background there. But it'll be interesting to see what Verstappen and Red Bull do with strategy, because presumably they went in last night not knowing whether they were going to be starting 2nd or 7th on the grid. So you would have thought they would have had a plan A and a plan B in terms of strategy, whether they were going to start 2nd or 7th. You wouldn't have thought they would have left it for chance. They would have surely made plans for both scenarios, do you think?
I would have thought so. But the good news for Verstappen is he's gone from the dirty side of the track to the clean side of the track, so he'll at least have that, as opposed to Bottas, who will be going from the clean side of the track to the dirty side of the track.
Yes, however, when you're further back, obviously you've got cars in front of you to provide a slipstream, whereas if you're starting 2nd on the dirty side, you've got no one in front of you to start a slipstream because you're on that side of the track. Whereas Bottas in 3rd would have had Hamilton in front of him punching a hole in the air. So it makes for an interesting. And of course, when you're back in that pack there's more chance that if someone breaks late, if there's an incident in the corner, you're more likely to be involved in that when you're further back up the grid.
What won't help either Bottas or Verstappen is Norris, Alonso, and Gasly are all starting on the softer tyres.
Yes, they are. Just I'm going to bring that onto the screen. In fact, I'll bring that onto the screen now. This is the live timing screens, which is slightly in front of the coverage on Sky Sports. So I'm following the action on Sky Sports F1. There's a slight delay because of the satellite feed, whereas this timing screen, which is from the Formula One official website, this is a live timing screen. This is a couple of seconds or a few seconds in front of what we're watching on the telly. So they're just starting their formation lap now on the channel. But yes, you're right. And we can see the tyres are starting in there. All of Gasly, Alonso, and Norris all start on soft tyres. Remember, in this year in qualifying, if you start on the tyres that you set your fastest time on in the second qualifying session. Whereas it also used to be the 3rd qualifying session, what you done your fastest race on, you would carry to the Grand Prix. Now it's qualifying 2, where those tyres are used.
Also, we do believe that the softer tyre here is significantly faster than the medium as well, so they could be vulnerable to the cars behind them as well.
It's true. Although I Hamilton, I expect. I would expect him to lead the race after the first race, barring an incident. The question is Verstappen trying to catch and pass those in front of him. Now he's got Mercedes in front of him. That's going to be hard to pass anyway. We know when a Mercedes on straight line speed, but even the likes of Norris and the likes of Norris is on a Mercedes engine. That's going to be hard to pass. Carlos Sainz. It'll be interesting to see how he gets into fly. They're not particularly quick in the straight line speed, and he's on the medium tyres as well.
I think you've had quite a bit.
A lot of it's going to come down to how desperate Verstappen gets as well. He is temperamental, and he's going to want to make up those places as quick as possible. How much risk is he going to take to do it?
Well, one thing Verstappen cannot do, he cannot afford to have an incident. He cannot afford. If he doesn't finish this race and Hamilton wins, Hamilton doesn't need to win the next race to win the title. And that's key. So Verstappen needs to make sure that he has no instances in done one. If there's any instances in front of him, if it means him dropping a place or two, but getting them back later, he has to stay incident-free going into that first bend. And that's easier said than done when you're in the middle of the pack there. Especially when you've got a long run down to turn one. Some cars are going to outbrake themselves going into that first turn. I'm absolutely confident.
I've no idea.
I had two.
Have you opened any for him?
No.
Right.
I had.
How many have you had?
That one, no.
You've had two.
No,
Right. No, Daddy's just said he's had two. So what two did you nicked his chomp, didn't you?
Right.
Did you nick his chomp?
You said I can have that, and I'm trying to stream live at the moment.
No sound. Hi, Rob. Hope you can hear me, mate. Hi, Rob. Hope you're doing all right, mate. Can you hear me now? Hopefully you can hear me now. Now, see, I would rather have been Alonso's car than Gasly's with that dirty side. I'd rather been, and to be fair, I think Mercedes were quite happy with Bottas in third and Verstappen in second before the penalties were applied, because that's not the best side starting on that dirty side with no one in front of you. Obviously, if you're behind Gasly, if you're in fourth or sixth or eighth, then you've got cars in front of you to punch in there and give you a slipstream. Even with a dirty side, you're still getting something. But
by the way,
you've got nothing.
Damon Hill is about as useful.
Oh, hang on, we're off. Hang on. And away we go. Hamilton got well. Alonso, Gasly. Oh, Hamilton's gone in front of Gasly. Ooh. Verstappen's had a very good start, but he's gone off. Oh, he's gone wide. Verstappen. Alonso second. Hamilton's breaking away. Verstappen's not had a good start at all. Not sorry, Verstappen. Bottas. Alonso second. Gasly third. Verstappen fourth. Norris fifth. Bottas has not had a good start.
He never does.
No, they needed Bottas to have a good start. Bottas is actually behind Perez.
Yeah, but the Bottas is a total liability. He has been for a long time. Brian, in a way, yes, I agree. It'll be interesting to see how this track is next year with actually not racing next year, but they're on a long-term contract from 2023 onwards with different cars. I don't think overtaking is going to be easy with this particular model of cars on this track. However, in a couple of years' time, that may change. Coming well ahead now already.
Now, the question is Verstappen, well, you would have thought Red Bull will be on the... And this is what I don't like about Red Bull, essentially having two teams with the AlphaTauri. They're going to be on the phones asking Gasly to move over, aren't they? That's the thing, and that's why I don't like it. But because it's a sister team, and it brings back the question on should there be sister teams. But when Mercedes needed Bottas, Bottas has been, again...
They may do, but I don't think they'll do it just yet. The reason being is because it's too close to Norris behind him.
We're not, well, we have to wait and see because we've never raced in this circuit, so it's still a lot of unknown, Brain. It's still very unknown how cars are going to perform. We expect it to be difficult to overtake, but we're not sure. At this moment in time, we'll have to see how, once the DRS is enabled with the long straight, whether or not that makes any difference or not. So just seeing the replay now. Verstappen, who is that? It's Bottas. Yeah, around the inside and sort of. Oh.
Carlos Sainz has had a nightmare as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. Just watching Verstappen's. Yeah, he had a very good start. I mean, he was down past Sainz and behind Norris before the first bend. In fact, he was in front of Norris in the first bend.
Bottas absolutely or practically stalled it on the start.
Well, they've all taken the outside line, interestingly. They've all gone to the outside, and Verstappen's basically Christmas come early. No one in front of him taking the inside line. But now we've got a train of cars coming down the long 1 kilometre straight. Fastest lap by Hamilton. He's already 2.1 seconds in front.
A lot of dust, isn't there?
Yeah. The question is how these cars, 57 laps, and this is quite a grueling Grand Prix because it's a lot of engine power. And yeah, Verstappen complaining on the radio that he's stuck where he is. I think that's a message on get on the phone, get the AlphaTauri out of the way. Again, I don't agree with that. I know that's what happens, but this is what happens having assisted cars. Basically, Red Bull have got 4 cars on the track there, in which they can basically get 3 of them to move out of the way if it suits, which I don't like at all. Yeah, they're just Martin Brundle saying about the best Verstappen can hope for here. Verstappen is 3rd, by the way. Of course, Gasly putting up no fight, basically. So Verstappen's up to 3rd with just Alonso in front of him, which I'm not surprised because, like I said, it is the AlphaTauri. The Red Bulls were always going to be on the phone to AlphaTauri saying, yeah, move Gasly out of the way. And that's what's happened. Gasly has essentially not, he's subtle about it, let's be honest, but he's... Yeah, Gasly went wide and then Verstappen gone past with DRS, but that's rather, yeah. I would say that was quite deliberate by Gasly.
Bearing in mind, Gasly had DRS as well.
Yeah, they were always going to get on the phone to him. Look, no one's run rides on that corner, on that last corner all weekend. And Gasly, the minute Gasly's in front of Verstappen and Verstappen saying, look, I need some help getting past here. Next thing you know, he moves out of the way. This is what I think the FIA need. The sister team stuff is crap because it means that Red Bull essentially have 4 cars because they can just get the Toro Rosso.
It's almost like rigging a race, isn't it? It's almost like rigging the race.
They can just, there's one thing getting your own team out the way, but to get the Toro, the AlphaTauri out the way, I don't like that. I think it's, I know they're a sister team of Red Bull, but they should be held by the same. You wouldn't be on the phone to Ferrari, would you, and saying, "Look, can you move out of the way?" First, let's have a look. I mean, if Verstappen's 4 seconds behind Hamilton, can he get past Alonso? But the question here, but this is where Mercedes again, they've got a Bottas who is useless off the start because every race he cannot get a good start, and now he's there currently in 11th place. He's out of the race essentially now. And there we go. Verstappen's gone past Alonso
Without any problems,
no issues whatsoever. But Bottas being out of the race, it's not as though they could pick Bottas, try the undercut, put some pressure on Verstappen. They can't because Bottas is down in bloody 11th because he cannot drive a Formula 1 car. I don't even know why bloody Alfa Romeo have taken him on for next year. He would be better teaching Sunday drivers how to sit 10 miles per hour below the speed limit on every bloody road in the UK. He's useless in these conditions, absolutely useless. He's useless to Mercedes. They're having to fight with 1 car while Red Bull are having 2 cars every week.
Well, Bottas doesn't like to race. As silly as that sounds, he doesn't like to race. If he's at the front of the grid, a bit like Vettel, isn't it?
Back in stroll,
Vettel,
he likes to stroll. What he likes to do is like to stroll.
Yeah, but when Vettel was winning titles, he always done so from the front of the grid. The minute he started lower down the grid, he'd always struggle because he hated getting into confrontational racing with other drivers. Bottas is exactly the same. If he's at the front of the grid, he's absolutely fine. Always does well in qualifying because he's not racing anyone. The minute he gets into a race, he is always the person to retreat. Doesn't push anyone.
Well, Verstappen now in clear air is closing the gap on Hamilton, by the way. But of course, we don't know how much Hamilton is fuel saving and tyre management and so on at this stage. Well, to see
That's
how.
That's some long straight, isn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah, up to 4 seconds now. Hamilton's
Yeah,
realised.
just given a hurry up, perhaps. You just don't know. It's the thing if Hamilton was in a fuel saving mode, a time management mode. We don't know what the strategy is going to be. And the thing is here, because it's a new circuit, they've obviously taken the hardest compound tyres today. The Pirelli have, but we don't know how long these tyres are going to last for. Some were saying it's quite a smooth track. They could last a while, but others are saying.
We think with a one stop, they think it's cut. If they go for one stop, I think it's going to be very, very tight at the end. If they go
with a hard
stop.
tyre, yes. However, because of the drop in temperature, they're saying that the hard tyre may not perform as well. So actually, the better strategy may be a two-stop with a medium and a medium, followed by a hard or medium soft if you push the mediums, quite far into the race. But we'll have to see how well these mediums last. I think if we get to 15 laps in these medium tyres, the ones that are on medium tyres are saying that they need a change, then that gives us an indication that it's definitely going to be a two-stop race. The softs we'd expect the softs to be in obviously first, so we'll be keeping an eye on the likes of Alonso, Gasly, Norris, who are all on soft tyres, to see how long until they sort of decide actually their tyres are off.
I'll tell you what, given the fact that Bottas is now stuck behind Lance Stroll in 11th place, right, and you've got this huge gap open up between Verstappen and Alonso, Mercedes must be furious. Toto Wolff must be absolutely furious that Hamilton is on his own up there when there was such a clear opportunity for Bottas to really put pressure on.
I don't know what Bottas. I mean, this is what I mean. This is why Mercedes needs and why they are replacing Bottas, because he's just not able. There's too many races this year where in the fastest car on the grid, he's stuck down in the middle pack. And the thing is, Perez has even started making ground back and so on. Yet Bottas, he's been, where is he now? He's currently
11th.
P11. He's been P11 since the end of the first lap. Verstappen's made up 4 places. 4 places since the end of the first lap. Perez is making, he started 11th, he's now at 7th. And Bottas in the fastest car on the grid can't make up 1 place, and he's down in 11th. It's just pointless. He's just might as well not bother.
Just quickly, Verstappen's now at 4.6. He's lost half a second somewhere, but he's still got the fastest lap, so he must have made a mistake somewhere.
Possibly.
One of the bags of rice.
So what they're saying about whether Verstappen's got possible front end plate damage on the team radio.
And they've gone into the flour. So now I've got to check the other flour to see if it's got weevils. Weevils. Bugs. You can eat them.
Can you eat bugs?
Some of them.
Can we eat bugs?
Do you think that will be from when he went over the grass?
Well, possibly.
He might have knocked something slightly loose.
No, we actually, funny enough, we've just literally had Toto Wolff on the radio to Bottas, telling him basically to get a move on. That doesn't happen often, by the way. That is not a common occurrence in Mercedes.
Toto Wolff doesn't often go on the radio at all.
No, he doesn't. So that says a lot. Well, then Martin Brundle was just saying that's quite a rare thing for Brundle, for Toto Wolff to that. That's a hurry up if ever I've heard. It's basically what he's saying, which is it's true. And like I said, it's pointless because they can't. He's completely out of play here. Bottas is completely out of play. You might as well park up his car and go and get one of the bloody marshals to go and give it a little test ride around the bloody circuit. It's that useless where it is.
The thing is, even if he's not providing any assistance to Hamilton, he's not even in the points.
No, absolutely.
He's literally gaining nothing. Perez has just gained another place. Why is that it? Where's Bottas? The problem with Bottas is he's stuck behind all these drivers.
Whoa.
Oh, Jesus.
Is he going to...
He's got... Has he made the place?
Right, Bottas has got past Stroll.
The problem he's had is
the timing screens. Again, the timing screens are slightly ahead of the coverage watching on Sky Sports F1. So
the problem he's had a train in front of him. So even with his DRS, the car in front of him's also had DRS. So,
that's true,
now,
but he's got to be a bit aggressive. He's got to do a couple of late braking onto turn one and whatnot. What he is, he's too soft. He's too, I won't put, take a risk, Valtteri. You've left your teammate hung out to dry because you're incompetence off the bloody start line week in, week out. Get some balls, put that bloody car into the corners late, be aggressive and actually do your job as a racing driver. If you can't do that, you are not a racing driver. If you cannot stick a front wheel against a considerably slower car into turn one, you might as well not bother racing. You might as well take a stroll down watching songs of praise, driving down around the M25 in a cruising thing. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous what he's doing. He's now up to 9th, Bottas, by the way.
Look at the gap, by the way, between
up to 5.4 on timing screens.
Yeah, but between Alonso and Verstappen, though, it's an extra 12 seconds on that already.
Yep. Yes. It's the two.
That final podium place is up for grabs.
What the thing is, and this is where Bottas can still come into it. If Verstappen needs to pit, where does he come out of? And this is why they want Bottas to get a move on, because he could still become a key if they decide to put him on harder tyres. If Verstappen was to come in, would he come out behind Bottas? And that is why they need Bottas to get a move on, because he could come up behind Bottas and then they can keep Bottas out and slow him down.
Just on Stroll, and now he's got out of that train.
He's on clean air screen. He's got signs
clean air now. Yeah, but he's got some clean air, so he's got some time to make up. He can start making a difference now. But I mean, he's just had an absolute
like I said, that's where he comes into play. That is where he comes into play. Right, let's change the banner here actually, because I've just.
Hamilton flying, by the way, absolutely flying. He's fastest lap after fastest lap at the moment. 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, Hamilton's flying. I mean, he's 5 point the live timing screen, which is again, it's about 10 seconds, 10-15 seconds in front of the Sky Sports F1 coverage on my app, and on the live time screens, he's 5.8, nearly 6 seconds in front of Verstappen. But I want that again. This is where Bottas needs to hurry on, because he's now 29, 30 seconds behind Hamilton, which means he's 24, 25 seconds behind Verstappen. But they need to get him in range so that if Verstappen pits, he comes out behind Bottas, because they can just leave Bottas out then and make it difficult for him to pass Bottas and slow him down. This is where Bottas can still, and this is why it's important for him to get in front. He's currently 3 tenths behind Sainz. He needs to get past Sainz.
But more than that, he's about just under a second behind.
Well, I see that this is now. If I'm Mercedes, I'm thinking, right, do you just try and leave Bottas out as long as possible, or do you pit him now, bring him out into clean air, give him some lap time, so that when Verstappen
does he come into clean air? Does he come into clean air?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they can find him into clean air, perhaps the strategy now would be pit Bottas, bring him out to clean air, get some days lap times in, so that when Verstappen pits, he's coming out. Especially if it's a 2-stop, because he could go a longer stint on the next stint if they're going to 2-stop. The question is it 1 or 2-stop? Those on the soft tyres haven't yet come in either, and we haven't heard any radio message say that they're wearing off.
You see the replay? You see the replay on that front wing of Verstappen's? That is looking a little bit wobbly. It doesn't look like it's on properly.
Oh, here we go. Is Lando Norris has passed Gasly.
And I imagine that Perez will have a swipe of that very soon now as well.
The thing is that those on the soft tyres aren't yet complaining about tyre deg, and they're on the soft, so the mediums shouldn't really be complaining either yet. 6.2 seconds now, the gap in the timing screens. Bottas in ninth. There we go. So again, it's Hamilton clearly in front at the moment, or a long way in front. We don't even know how much management's going on there. We don't know if Hamilton is on tyre management, fuel management, etc. But
okay, pit window open. Pit window's open.
Well, presumably for the soft tyres.
There goes Perez. We knew he was going to quickly go over Gasly. We knew that was going to be the case.
Well, of course, Gasly was never going. This is what I mean. It's might as well.
But what the problem Perez now has is that Norris has since been able to get a little bit of a gap. So Perez is no longer within the 1 second window.
Well, yeah, but with free air,
DRS.
you'd expect him to close that. But Norris does have a Mercedes-powered engine down that straight. So it's not going to be easy to overtake.
It's not going to be exactly. So, out of all the drivers on the circuit, it's going to be one of the more difficult to get for us.
Yes, absolutely.
Bottas on again. I think he's just. Is this him overtaking? Signs, I think it is, isn't it?
Well, Bottas, what are you doing?
Oh, that was shocking. Yeah, Toto Wolff, look at him. He looks absolutely disgusting.
I mean, like I said, totally incompetent, that car. Who's Gasly's pitted? Gasly's in the pits. He was the first one. So that's just, remember, he's on the soft tyres. What's he come out on?
Well, he's going to have to do medium at some point or hard because of the fact that they've got to have two.
Look,
they've got
pit's gone a long way down the pits. He's gone down from what, 5th or 6th down to 17th, 18th.
Well, we haven't seen it on here yet. Is there a problem?
That is both. No, it's no problem. He's on it out.
Yeah, but we'll see how long the pit was. That seemed like a long pit stop.
Yeah, so I didn't see, but Tsunoda's already been in the pits as well. But that must have been a real bad pit stop because he's gone a long way down there.
Let's find out. He's on.
Well, just watching the pit now.
Well, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, 2.4 seconds. It's quite a long. They did say it's quite a long. The pits, quite a long cut-off here. There's a lot of time you lose on the pits, and they said because of that, if there's a safety car and you pit on a safety car, you get a really good advantage because of how long the pits are.
Mind you, so much runoff. I'll be very surprised if there's a safety car today.
It does mean Bottas is up to 8th temporarily, at least, so net 8th. Oh, sorry, gross 8th place.
Be interesting to see Gasly's times. What are we looking at here?
Well, I mean, we're only 15 laps in, and yet Hamilton and Verstappen are miles in front of everyone else. I mean, it's almost ridiculous, really, how far they're in front of everyone. And Bottas is 37. I mean, Bottas is now out of the thing. He needed to get past Sainz and Ocon quickly, and he hasn't. Surprise, surprise.
What time's Gasly doing? Lap 135?
Well, he's gone on to the Gasly. He's gone to the medium tyres. So that suggests to me they're two-stopping.
Yeah, it has to be. There's no way medium is going to get all the way to the end.
At least
no
two
chance.
So, yeah. So
we'll do this and then what are we 15?
Now his last time was 131, but that was an outlap. So let's see what
you're probably looking at going to lap 40, between 40 and 45, and then back to soft maybe for the last stint.
Possibly, or it could be mediums again. It depends really, because I think they're soft. I mean, they went off for him after 15 laps. I mean, if he's coming in with less than 15 laps, it's going to be mediums. Unless he comes in with less than 15 laps, it's going to be medium. Let's have a look at Gasly on his next.
He'll have less fuel in this car, so the degradation of the tyres won't be as severe.
No, well, no, of course, yeah. But point is that what I mean is, unless we are 15 laps through, he's going to have to go some 30 odd laps on those, 25 laps before. But he's actually on used mediums, is Gasly. Giovinazzi is now in the pits. Oh, so the radio message for Tim Hamilton just now was that that Verstappen appears to be struggling with his rears, and that overtaking appears to be easier than predicted.
What did I tell you? I said
he
this.
can't get past. Although Bottas is
said
now
this.
past signs. Bottas is now past signs. He's got Ocon next. I mean, he's not in the race here at all, but they may leave. They may try and leave him out to put a bit of pressure for Verstappen pits potentially. I don't know. It's too far behind. I think Verstappen still comes out.
He
comes
still
in front
needs.
of Bottas.
Yeah, but regardless of that, at least he needs the points for the constructors' championships.
Well, that as well, and also can apply a bit of pressure to Perez. But none of the mediums are pitted yet. It's all been soft tyres that are pitted so far. Now, as we look at Gasly's last time, it's a 129.8. Bear in mind, Hamilton's is a 127.6. So he's not lighting up. I mean, he is in comparison to. Well, I mean,
he's got Mickey Schumacher's a few seconds down the road as well, so it's not traffic that's keeping him slow.
Well, what I mean is Gasly set at 129.8, but Alonso set at 129.3, and Alonso's on the old soft tyres that he started the race on.
But we know the soft tyres have got significantly more grip in this.
Yes,
in this
but
track.
Alonso's on tyres that he started the race on. So it
I know,
should
but it just goes to
fresh
show
tyres.
just goes to show how much difference the soft tyres make on this track.
Well, that and it also shows that the mediums on Gasly hasn't given him an optimal speed, so to speak. 129.1 in the next race, in the next lap, compared to Alonso's 129.3.
He hasn't looked after his tyres well because he had a lot of clean air in front of him for quite a while. Because
Verstappen pits, going for the undercut, presumably.
Well, from that far back, I doubt it.
Well, to apply pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, I think his tyres have gone. Look at the gap, 9 seconds. Just like that, he's losing time.
I believe he is the first driver with mediums into the pits.
His tyres are really strong. He's come in, Ben, because he had to come in. This isn't a strategy of undercut. He had no choice. He was losing half a second a lap.
Verstappen's gone onto the hard tyres. Verstappen has gone onto the brand new hard tyres.
I don't think they're going to make it to the end. If 18 laps is screwing over his mediums, there's no way
He's got to go 40 laps.
He's
got to go 40 laps or 39,
no
40
chance.
laps on those tyres.
No
I can't see
chance.
it happening. Now, surely Hamilton and Mercedes pit now, just to cover, presumably.
Well, he's so far ahead, he may not feel like he needs to. They'll wait, I think. I don't think he's in any rush to. He's still setting fastest laps as well.
Well, here comes Alonso. No, Verstappen's come out. They've timed it just right. If he was any longer in the pits, he would have come out behind Alonso. If he was any longer in the pits there. Hamilton pits from the leads. I expected this. I thought it was to play it safe, just match Verstappen.
What's he go on to though? That's the question.
Presumably onto the hard to know. I would have thought. Again, you just match him.
His strategy, but I mean, he's already got the pace and the time, so it makes sense to.
Oh yeah, you don't take any risk, do you? You don't try a different strategy.
Hamilton was just saying that he doesn't feel like he needed to pit, but they've obviously told him no, just do it.
Yeah, you just match. There's no point taking any risks, is there? Here, you just match it.
Yeah.
Let's see what Verstappen's outlap was on those hard tyres. They did say that they weren't sure how quickly the hard tyres will come into prime because the cooler air, the nighttime air, and it's been cooler than what they've been racing in recently. So he comes out in front. Yeah. Yeah, he's come out well in front of Verstappen. Now let's see which team can get those hard tyres into a good, into a good feel, into prime temperature, etc. This will be very interesting now.
Perez, by the way, in all this, as he's got in front of Norris, and Bottas is right on his arse.
The thing is, they didn't want to leave, and I don't blame Mercedes for pitting for Hamilton, because you don't want, even if Verstappen was only gaining a second on a brand new set of tyres, after 5 or 6 laps, 5 or 6 seconds, all of a sudden Hamilton pits and he comes out just in front, 2 or 3 seconds in front of Verstappen. All of a sudden,
With cooler
he's then
tyres.
going to be on the radio saying, "Well, hang on a minute, how is he so close to me?" And this is where I think Hamilton, he might have the feel of the car, but he doesn't see the data that the team see, that we can see here. That it's just not worth the risk. You've got the edge on Verstappen. Just match his strategy. Don't try to do anything fancy. Just match the strategy. They have to do something different. If you're doing the same as them, they can't beat you. They have to do something different from you. And so it's.
And
But this is where
because Hamilton's got such a
Bottas
lead,
not being in.
because Hamilton's got such a lead, the Red Bulls have to do something. They've got no choice.
Yeah, but this is where, as I said, this is where Bottas not being around doesn't come into play. This is where Bottas lets Hamilton down, because Bottas can play a strategy which forces Verstappen to pitch or not pitch and so on. And because Bottas is nowhere near.
Because I don't know how to play it, and it's not for kids. It's an adult game.
Fastest second sector for Hamilton.
Malachi, there's lots and lots of games to play. Play a different one.
Bad stop for Perez, by the way. Well, not bad stop, but a little bit of a delayed stop there for Perez. Welcome, viewers. I hope you are all having a good Sunday. We are watching the Qatar Grand Prix live, where Hamilton currently leads. Verstappen is second, followed by Alonso third, Norris fourth, and Bottas in fifth. Both Hamilton and Verstappen have made recent pit stops and gone from a medium tyre onto hard tyres.
Where are you trying to go?
Perez now onto the hard tyre as well.
So small.
I'm watching.
1 minute, okay?
Well, Malachi, I'm not going to play games. Come on. What's up with it?
Fastest lap of the race, 127.4 to Hamilton. The gap 8.5 seconds. Hamilton appears to be in control here at the moment. Appears to be in control at the moment.
Hamilton setting the fastest lap.
Yeah, I've seen
going
that.
onto the hard.
It's literally just saying that. So Bottas, by the way, he's got past Ocon. So Bottas is now into fifth, with Norris just in front of him. Now, I wonder if Mercedes feel that keeping Bottas out, if his tyres are okay, that he could still play a part in terms of whether they can finish him in front of Perez, which will be key in the constructors.
Well, they've got to compare Bottas's times to Perez's now.
Boy, that front wing's moved about, doesn't it, for Perez? When the tyres go on the up, it's going to be interesting to see how these hard tyres perform. Because the thing is, in practice as well, no one really had a really good long stint on the hard tyres.
I'll tell you what Bottas needs
to
to
do.
Bottas needs to get in front of Norris, because Lando Norris, if he delays him, Perez is going to build a lead over him.
Yes, I agree.
If he can get past Norris,
yeah.
If he can get past Norris, he can push and try and get ahead after the pit stop.
I would say, I mean, fair play to Alonso and Norris, who are both still going on the soft tyres, by the way. On the soft tyres. They are obviously playing the one-stop strategy, I feel. Both Alonso and Norris. Whether Hamilton and Verstappen could get to the end on hard tyres, I would definitely say Gasly is playing a two-stop, given he went from mediums to mediums. Soft to mediums.
Malachi, what?
Joe, I've just muted you on there while you have your Barney with your son.
Okay, we'll go to the right.
Not COVID. Right. Okay, so Hamilton still leads. Gap at 8.5 seconds. It seems to be like he's managing that gap there. Alonso's had a great race, by the way, in that Alpine. A great race. Don't rule him out, by the way, Alonso, of a podium here. Now, Perez is stuck behind Vettel. Perez is on the hard tyres. Vettel is on the softs. He's lapping considerably quicker, Perez and Vettel. But again, there's one thing is catching someone, there's another thing overtaking. Especially, don't forget Vettel has a Mercedes-powered engine as well. So and then he's got Daniel
he'll have
Ricciardo
a
in
chance
front of
on
him
the,
there.
on the straight. He'll have a chance on the straight on the DRS. Bounce.
Daniel
As long as he
Ricciardo's
get the
on the mediums,
exit.
by the way.
As long as he get the exit.
Yep.
Let's see what that is.
Right, Perez. So just watch Perez going around trying to get
Yeah,
past
but he
Vettel.
went too wide. Vettel kept it inside.
Vettel's quite experienced, you know. You're not going to slip past him without a fight, that's for sure.
No, but I tell you what, though, he was bordering it, wasn't he? Because he made it looked like he was shaking around the straight there, and you can't do that.
The thing is, it should be a straightforward overtake on paper because you've got brand new set of tyres against an old set of softs. But yeah, I've seen that.
Passing Norris.
It's interesting though that it took Toto Wolff to get on the radio to Bottas and tell him to get a move on, and then he starts getting a move on. It just makes you wonder how much Bottas cares, really.
There you go.
Was he just sat there behind Stroll thinking, you know, I'm quite happy to sit here?
Perez now overtaken Vettel quite comfortably, actually.
That was always going to happen eventually. It's a case of when rather than if.
I don't think
took a little bit longer than he.
Yeah, but I don't think he's lost that out because I think Bottas took so long to overtake Norris.
Well, yes, although Perez did have the bad pit stop. So again, it will be, I think Bottas will come out behind Perez. The question is how far behind Perez. And now Bottas has now got clean air because of the gap to Alonso, who has pitted. So Bottas is currently third, whereas Alonso's come out in eighth. He's currently in eighth. He's going to come out in eighth, I think. Yeah, he's come out in eighth as Alonso. So Bottas has got clean air. Now, at this moment in time, if Bottas was to pit, it will come out behind Alonso. But we'll see the times. Bottas is a 1:28.4 in his last lap. Let's see what his next couple of laps timings are against Alonso. I expect him to close that gap so that when he does pit, he'll come out, fairly close to Alonso. And then, of course, we'll see where Perez fits into that as well. Perez has got another car. He's got Daniel Ricciardo up next in the Mercedes-powered McLaren. So Alonso's just gone past Ricciardo. Of course, Alonso, and then Perez is just behind Ricciardo as well. But Alonso is on a brand new set of hard tyres, I think. Yeah, Alonso's on a brand new set of hard tyres. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What were the AlphaTauros thinking when they put Gasly on a set of mediums?
They obviously going for two-stop.
I mean, those mediums are not going to go to the end. They must be thinking about a two-stop. I'm guessing everyone else who's putting the hard tyres are considering the one-stop.
Well, they, like I said earlier, this was what they were talking about, but they do think it's going to be very, very tight. Very tight.
Now, Bottas can still play a key here. If he can close that gap down to Verstappen, it prevents Verstappen from having to do a second pit stop. Mm-hmm. And the reason why that may be key is because Verstappen, that Red Bull may feel that they get that in the last lap or the last couple of laps, they could pit Verstappen and go for the fastest lap and get the extra point. Which will do in the last
space.
Lap,
if they've got enough space, but Bottas could prevent
exactly. And this is where Bottas can still play a part in this. He can prevent Verstappen from being able to make that second pit stop.
Also, Bottas, if Bottas only makes the one pit stop, it could be that Verstappen may have to make a second pit stop anyway, regardless if his tyres are gone. And that will complicate the matter if he's going to end up
so they're trying
Bottas.
to bring Bottas in play. That's why he's going on a longer run, I'm sure. And at this stage now, I would expect it to be. I mean, we're nearly halfway through the race on the medium tyres, so I'd expect the hard tyres to last Bottas to the end of the race when he comes to put them on.
Dressing gown.
Dad, Mum, can I write here, please?
What do you want?
Can you tell me how you get us on this, please?
So new
Ricciardo
fast
second
race
up.
again for Hamilton.
What?
Because this one's a bit dull, isn't it? But,
Yeah, they will try and use Verstappen to do an extra pit stop. But the question is where Bottas. Yeah, it's very true. Very true. Brundle just saying it's a 2-point turnaround with the fastest lap. Obviously, you bring them. You can only do it on the fastest lap. The reason why you have to do that pit on the last lap is because if you've done it the lap before the last lap, let's say they brought in Verstappen on the second from last lap, then they could just bring in Hamilton on the last lap, knowing it's a free pit stop to go and do the fastest lap on the lap after, on the last lap. So it's okay. So Norris has come out in 11th after a pit.
He's on the hard as well. They will bound to go to the end now, aren't they?
Yeah. Anyone who pits now into a hard tyre is going to the end of the race. The question is, because Verstappen was in early. Now, Hamilton coming earlier than obviously he was expecting, but it was just purely covering Verstappen. But Verstappen coming early, those medium tyres burnt off quickly. Those medium tyres burnt off quicker than some cars' soft tyres. Vettel's the only player. Vettel's the only one who hasn't pitted by the way on the stop.
That'll be the racing behind the other cars to get himself up the grid.
Yeah.
Not to mention that he went off the track, which won't have helped.
Yes, well, of course, yes, but either way, it's we'll have to see how. So I suspect Hamilton is purely probably tyre management now. I would have thought to try and make sure that those tyres can go to the end of the race, because obviously Hamilton had to pit early as well in order to cover Verstappen, which was obviously the correct thing to do. So I dare say Hamilton's in a fuel management, tyre management sort of situation at the moment. But let's have a look at, so Bottas is. Ooh. So Alonso's gone past.
Be back in a minute.
Perez. Okay. Right, viewers. I hope everyone's doing all right. Just a quick update to where we are. Currently, Hamilton leads the Grand Prix by just over 7.5 seconds. Bottas third, but yet to stop. Sainz at fourth, who's also yet to stop. Although Sainz is now in the pits here, so I'm expecting. So let's see where Sainz comes out. Sainz pits and the Clerk pits. So they're doubling up the Ferraris into the pits here. So Red Bull was starting to close the gap now to Mercedes, and it's basically a Verstappen has just put through a radio message saying that he's going to just it doesn't matter if he uses the tyres up, just to push anyway. So Verstappen is now pushing those tyres as hard as he can. We'll see if Mercedes responds. But the gap has come down to 6 point. Oh no, it's back to 7.1. So it's just Hamilton, I think, is probably in a fuel consumption, tyre saving management mode. Verstappen has had a little push and said, "Look, let's just push. Doesn't matter about the tyres now. We either finish second or we finish second." So Verstappen is now pushing, but that seems to have given Hamilton a bit of a all right. Well, if you're going to put the pace down, so will I. So, and which he has done, and the gap's gone back up to 7.2, 7.4. It was down to 6.5. So that's where we are at the front. Elsewhere, Bottas, who's yet to stop in third after a poor start by Bottas. He started in 6th after a 3-place grid penalty. Okay, I'm just listening as well on the Sky Sports F1 app. Now, Perez is trying to get past Alonso, who's pitted a couple laps after Perez, actually. So it's not going to be easy to get past Alonso for Perez. And that brings Bottas back into play potentially. Bottas, let's have a look at his lap times. 127.9 on his last lap compared to Perez, who's at 128.1. So with Perez, Perez has passed Alonso. So the gap there is 20 seconds. So Bottas would come out in front, or so behind Perez and Alonso if he was to pit now. They may pit Bottas in a minute. They may have to pit Bottas in a minute and give Bottas, who will have some fresh tyres, an opportunity to try and close that gap down on Perez and Alonso. But I think Mercedes were trying to see how much they could push Bottas on that, because at this moment in time, Verstappen won't want to pit a second time because he will come out behind Bottas, who's yet to pit. They don't want to do that. Bottas, if Verstappen has to go to a second stop, and that may still yet happen because his medium tyres wore out very quickly. Fastest lap of the race for Lewis Hamilton, 1:26.8. Right, I'll be back in. Well, actually, I'll wait for Jordan to get back to the stream first, and then I'm going to need a drink, as you do. But so far, so good if you're Lewis Hamilton. The gap was at 1.8.5 seconds. Verstappen has let it come down, or managed to bring it down a little bit, although we do know Verstappen has pushed a little bit. Hamilton has done some tyre management. He's done some fuel management and so on and so forth. The question is, will Verstappen need to pit? Because he's got hard tyres on, but he pitted early for those hard tyres. We're not sure how the tyre deg is on these hard tyres. What we do know is Verstappen had to pit early despite having medium tyres on because his rear tyres had gone. Right, Verstappen's now set the fastest lap of the race. A 1:26.5. Let's see if Hamilton responds on that. I don't think he's going to respond straight away. I think he's quite happy just to keep he's got a gap there. He's not going to push those tyres too hard. I think he knows that Verstappen will struggle to get past him if he was to close those gap down. And those tyres, we do know that from the Red Bull seems to be harder on its tyres than the Mercedes. Bottas, for example, is on medium tyres and he's yet to stop. And for reference, Bottas has set a 1:27.8 in his last lap. Perez has set a 1:27.9 in his last lap. And Perez is on hard tyres at 11 laps old. Bottas is on medium tyres at 33 laps old. If Bottas was to pit any time now, he would have fresh tyres all the way to the end of the race, and that would be able to close that gap down on Perez, which is currently 20 seconds. He would probably come out about 4 or 5 seconds behind Perez. Perez, I'm expecting to go to the end of the race, bearing in mind he pitted a lot later. I mean, he's only, like I said, he's done, Perez has done 11 laps on those tyres. Should take him through to the end of the race, perfectly fine. Raikkonen on for the hard tyres there. Raikkonen's just pit. That was Raikkonen's second stop for hard tyres there, interestingly. So it's going to be an interesting run in these final sectors. I'd be interested to see how Bottas comes into play here. But Bottas, where he is, if Verstappen was to pit now, he would struggle to get in front of Bottas. So Verstappen going for a second pit stop at this moment in time is out of the question. But Bottas does need to pit. They'll have to wait until Bottas pits in order to do that. But leaving Bottas out there, I think is just preventing Verstappen from having to make being able to make a second pit stop if they feel those hard tyres start to wear off. At this moment in time, there's no sign that those hard tyres are wearing off yet, but there's still a long way to go in this race in terms of laps. There's still over 25 laps to go. And he's been on, in fact, I'll tell you how long Verstappen has been on those tyres, 15 laps. Gets another 25 laps to go on those hard tyres. So the strategy really can come into play here. Hamilton, I think Verstappen must have made a mistake in that last lap, perhaps, because he's gone from a 6.2 second gap to a 7 second gap. Interestingly. Yellow flag, lap 33, yellow flag. So someone's gone off somewhere. I say someone's gone off. There's also been an incident. It's only a single yellow flag at the moment. Not sure what for yet. The timing screen, for those who've never watched me streams before, my timing screen that you can see on the screen now is live timings from Formula One. Sky Sports, because it's via satellite feed, is behind by about 30 seconds. So I see the times on the screen 30 seconds before I see it. Bottas has a puncture. That's why. Wow. Too many laps possibly on that medium. Oh dear. So Bottas is he's well. That's Bottas's race over. Bottas now eventually pits, but wow, okay, that's Bottas puncture. I wonder if he'll be able to get back out, Bottas. He's still in the pits. It's a long pit. So has he got suspension damage? He's done a long way back in that with and there's been sparks coming off the car and all sorts. I wonder if there's damage to the car as a result. Right, so Bottas is now coming out of the pit, so he's been able to come back out, but he's all the way down in 14th now. So he's got a new nose on the car as well. This is interesting. What a blow from Mercedes for Bottas, especially in terms of constructors. Bottas was looking like he was going to recover to get some good points in terms of the constructors championship. Not now, they're not. Well, there's a twist. So I wonder, that is a warning sign to those who think they're going to try and push those tyres. That tyres almost certainly failed because it was those medium tyres were 34 laps old. 34 laps old. We'll have to wait and see the replay to see at what point they went. Did he hit a curb, for example? Did they puncture on a curb? Did they just give way because those tyres were? There we go. We get the replay now. So it looks like it's front left. That looks like it's a front left. Oh no, front left tyre, not on the curb. So that wasn't a curb puncture. So that is purely just a tyre given way, too old, too long on them. Cars will be keeping an eye out now because some cars are going to be doing. Verstappen and Hamilton have been on those hard tyres for 18 laps now. They're going to have to consider the fact that if they get those tyres go too long, they spend too long on those tyres, they could go. We saw it with Gasly yesterday. We've seen it with Bottas today. Gap, by the way, up to 8.1. So Verstappen's charge at Hamilton was short-lived because the gap is now at 8.1 seconds. Right, I do need to get a drink. So I will be back in 2 shapes of a lamb's tail, as they say. Right, back in 2 seconds. Right, and we're back. I made a drink, and guess what I've done? I've left it on my kitchen side. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Christ. Honestly, I'd lose my balls if they went in a bag. Right, let's have a look what's going on. So let's get a status update here. Hamilton leads by Verstappen, who leads Perez, currently in 3rd place. Alonso 4th, Norris 5th, and Ocon 6th. Everyone has pitted once, barring Gasly, who's pitted twice, and can't pronounce his name, Giovinazzi, who's also pitted twice. And I think Raikkonen, Tsunoda's pitted twice as well, and Raikkonen. So we've had a few two-stop races so far. Some are going to two-stop, some are going to chance of one-stop here, but we don't know how well these tyres can last. Now, Bottas has just had a puncture 5 minutes ago on tyres, on medium tyres that were 34 laps old, 33, 34 laps old. On the medium tyres, it shows that these tyres will pop if you do not, if you try to run them too long. So I'm wondering how many of we're looking at a one stop and now thinking they're going to two stop to be on the safe side. And when I said that, I mean people like Verstappen, who's been on the hard tyres for 20 laps now, and there are still 19 laps to go. Wow. Just listen to Ted Kravitz on Sky F1 here. Smash that like button, people, by the way. If you are still watching, smash that like button. I really do appreciate it. I wonder if Red Bull will pit Verstappen. They're just talking about whether Verstappen's going to pit again or not. So Verstappen is already saying that he's getting some more vibrations in the car. And he's still got 18 laps to go. Yeah, he's going to have to be on a two-stop. I can't see how he's not going to last to the end on those. Everyone is lapped, by the way, all the way up to Lance Stroll and Ocon, who are going to be lapped pretty soon. And then I suspect Norris behind before then. Although, to be fair, I do think Hamilton and Verstappen will pit again. I don't think Norris will pit again. I don't think Perez will pit again. And I don't think Alonso will pit again. Yeah, that's a point, actually. I expect Bottas to come in with a brand new set of soft tyres at the end. Well, no, actually can't because, well, no, he can. So So Red Bull, I think they're going to give up on the race win, barring something drastic. I think Red Bull are giving up on Verstappen winning the race. For them, it's a damage limitation, and getting the fastest lap will get a point for fastest lap. However, Mercedes will probably pit Bottas on the last lap, putting a brand new set of soft tyres on him, and then see if Bottas can get the fastest lap of the race. I suspect. Because then that stops. Although Bottas can't get that point, it can still prevent Verstappen getting that point. That means we'll be going into Saudi Arabia next weekend with just 7 points between the two drivers. Right, let's see. Now, there's a mix of cars that are on one stops and two stop strategy. So strategy can still bring different cars into play, not in terms of the race leads, but Hamilton and Verstappen are so far in front they can make another pit stop and they don't need to worry about anyone behind them. They're so far in front. There's a 63-second gap from Hamilton to Perez. That means there's a 52-second gap from Verstappen to Perez. They can pit Verstappen twice and still come out in front of Perez. Right, so 9.5 seconds. And actually, they're just saying about the Qatar Grand Prix. Obviously, there's no Qatari Grand Prix next year because of the World Cup. But they've got a contract. Oh, Verstappen pits. Verstappen pits. We was expecting this. I called it here a couple of minutes ago. Verstappen is in the pits for another set of tyres. Let's see what he comes in on. And will Hamilton pit straight away? I suspect Hamilton will respond and go for a like for like. But what will they put him onto? Verstappen pits for mediums. Verstappen has pitted for medium tyres. Brand new set of medium tyres. Now, Hamilton hasn't pitted yet. Perez pits. Perez is also pitting. That's interesting because Perez is on hard tyres that are only 20 laps old. Perez is pitting with laps that are only 21 laps old, and Perez is going to come out behind. He's going to lose track position to those who are probably one stopping. The likes of Norris and Alonso are probably going to one stop. So I'm not. So do they fear for Perez's tyres there? Hamilton pits. Hamilton is in the pits. No surprise. Common sense would be to respond and match because if Verstappen goes out and starts setting quick laps on a brand new set of medium tyres on a lower fuel load, then the undercut comes into play in 3 or 4 laps time. So the obvious thing here would be just to bring Hamilton in, which they're doing. So they've gone for 2 stops. Now, let's see where. So I'm just trying to listen to the commentary on the F1 while I'm watching it and keeping an eye on the timing screens as well. 2.3 seconds there, stop for Hamilton. So it's going to come out in front of Verstappen and it's going to be as you were. Now, the gap between Verstappen and Alonso shouldn't be an issue in terms of if they decide to stop Verstappen again. I don't think, by the looks of things. Let's have a look at what. Okay, so. Right, so, yeah. Interesting that they pit Perez. I'm trying to work out because now Perez is going to have traffic in front of him. Now, are they assuming that those in front of Perez are also going to pit, in which case they would just sort of cycle out behind Perez? But I've liked Norris and Alonso have not. I mean, Norris has only had 17 laps on those hards, and Alonso's only had 19 laps on those hards, and I don't know if they're going to pit again. You know, so I think Perez may have to pit them on, may have to pass them on full track position. Stroll's just a second in front of him, so will it be interesting to see how quickly he gets past. Yeah, so this be yeah, this is going to be very interesting now because I think Verstappen is going to pit on the last lap to try and have one lap to get the fastest lap and take the fastest lap point. They won't do the same with Hamilton. They can't take the risk because if they bring in Hamilton to do that, Verstappen will just stay out and win the race. Bottas, however, they can do. So I think they'll bring in Bottas also on the last race, brand new set of soft tyres which he does have available to try and set the fastest lap. Now, Bottas wouldn't get a point unless he's in the top 10, so he wouldn't get any points for setting a fast lap. But he could prevent he could prevent Verstappen from getting a fastest lap in the race, which would mean that Verstappen doesn't get it, and that's why it's key at the moment. New fastest lap of the race by Perez. No surprise, brand new set of tyres on for Perez there. So, brand new set of mediums for Perez. Hamilton and Verstappen also on the mediums as well. Now, Bottas is down in 12th after that puncture on the medium tyres. 34 lap old medium tyres that just gave way in the end. It's too long on them. A little bit of a Barney there between Raikkonen and Latifi, I think. Ooh. Cool, that could have turned nasty quickly. Yeah. 9.2 the gap now between Hamilton and Verstappen. Barring something stupid, Hamilton should win this race from here. It's a case of now, I think there's going to be a fight for fastest lap on the last lap of the race by both Verstappen and I suspect Bottas. Because Bottas will need fastest lap in order to prevent Verstappen from getting the extra point. So yeah, so what they are trying to do now is what Alonso's just sent a radiant message, quite clear to his team, get Ocon to defend for his life because Ocon is currently in front of Perez, and if he slows down Perez enough, Alonso could then pit and come out in front of Perez, which would give Alonso a podium, first time since he returned from. New fastest lap in the race, by the way, to Hamilton, 1:25.2. Bloody quick time that is. Now, I suspect if I'm Mercedes, I'll be on the phone on the radio to Lewis Hamilton saying, look, those medium tyres will give way. They will puncture if you are not careful. Do not push them. And they've still got, how many laps are they through? Lap 45. So they've got 10 laps to go, 11 laps to go. So this should be okay with those medium tyres. They're only 2 laps old, but I would just. Ooh. Yeah, they're just talking about Perez and whether or not he got. I'm surprised they pitted him from 3rd place. Oh, here comes Perez, who's going to get past Stroll here. But he's got Ocon next, and then Alonso. I think they'll try and keep out. I don't know why they. I don't know why. I mean, it's a risk. It's a risk. It's a risk. Rare track position. In the football, by the way, anyone who's interested, Man City 1, Everton 0, half-time score. Right. Oh, you're back. Well, just saying, John, about why Perez pitted from 3rd.
We do apologise for the delay. Your call will be answered as soon as possible.
Jordan? John, can you hear me? Jordan, can you hear me? Jordan.
Ben, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We are currently receiving a large volume of calls.
Can you hear
As a
me?
result, you may experience a longer than normal wait time. We value your call and will be with you as soon as we can. Thank you for your patience.
Can you hear me, Ben?
I can hear you.
Right, good. I can hear you now.
Right. Right, we're just saying about why Perez. Why did they feel the need to pit him from third place?
You are moving forward.
Well, they may have been worried about the tyres, having seen what happened to Bottas.
Yeah, but Perez was on. Not he went on like old tyres, was he?
What tyres was he on? The hards?
He was on hard tyres, but it was.
Perhaps they just felt that that it would be best to do it now rather than wait till later and then potentially struggle later on.
So, but Perez has got something. Is he going to run out of time? Alonso, I don't think they're going to pit now. I think they'll keep him out there. Norris is. I mean, he's on tyres. He's on 22 lap old tyres, but I mean, he's 7 seconds behind Norris.
By the way, that was a big mistake, clearly by Mercedes to leave Bottas out so long. You know, they can't.
Well, there's no doubt those tyres weren't because they gave way. There's no doubt. Bottas is going to pit on the last lap, without a doubt. It's going to be a last lap shootout in terms of fastest lap by both Verstappen and Bottas.
Norris has got a great chance for a podium here. If Alonso has to pit, I don't know.
Alonso's laps are 24 laps. Norris's laps are 22 laps. So
yeah, he's got a great chance for a podium here.
Well, yeah, but Perez is behind him on a brand new set of medium tyres, remember? But it's certainly...
Or at least scrapped.
Well, the question is, I don't think it's a case of whether Norris realistically is going to get the pits. The question is it going to be Perez or is it going to be Alonso? And that's going to be if Perez can come back to get to Alonso. Alonso's going to stay out there now, which begs the question, why did they take the risk in pitting from third place? If he doesn't get third place, it's going to be a major balls up by Red Bull. And Bottas, like I said, Bottas can... They'll put Bottas onto a brand new set of soft tyres which he has available for that last lap to try and get the fastest lap because we know they're going to do that for Verstappen because Verstappen needs the extra point. Bottas cannot get a point because he's not going to be in the top 10, particularly if he pits in the top 10. But he can stop Verstappen getting the point, so no one will get the fastest lap point if Bottas got it. So it's going to be a final lap shootout between Bottas and Verstappen. Barring something miraculous and in which Hamilton's not leading the race.
Well, some people will sort of say, "Oh, it's only 1 point and everything else," but in a championship as tight as this, it may well come down to a single point.
Absolutely, that's 7 points. The thing is, 7 points is the difference between first and second place. Well, given that we've got Saudi Arabia next week on a track that a lot of people considering to be a really quick
Mercedes territory,
that could be that 1 point could be the difference between going into the final race ahead on race wins or behind by a point. Lando Norris pits in the pit. Norris pits.
Well, I'm surprised.
He's not racing for third, John. That's the thing. Realistically, he's not racing for third. Does mean that Perez is no fight.
He came in so late. He came in late, so I expected he would be getting to the end of the Grand Prix on those tyres. Yeah. I'm not sure why he's pitting.
They've asked Alonso. By the way, they've just asked Alonso to avoid high-speed curbs. Obviously, they're worrying about the tyres going bang. It's going to be a case of Verstappen. Perez is yellow flag. Yellow flag.
Yeah, so that's why I'm wondering if there was something that's happened that we haven't seen yet.
Yellow flag. Yeah, it could be. Who's in the pits? Bottas is in the pits. Bottas is in the pits.
Already?
I wonder if something's happened to Bottas again.
Slow stop for Norris as well.
Bottas is retiring.
We're watching them on camera at the moment. Do you think he sustained damage to the wheel?
I don't know.
When he had this puncture,
Double wave yellow, sector 3. So
has something come off the car?
Russell's dropped down. So I'm getting Russell.
I'm seeing a
George
lot
Russell,
of
is
yellows
that-
coming up.
Puncture. Russell's got a puncture. Russell's got a puncture. There we go. Jeremy, mate, what's going on?
Tyres are just going, aren't they? They're just
Well,
literally
now
giving
tyres
way.
going. Could a safety car come into play in these last few laps? They are now. As Alonso is currently 12 seconds ahead of Perez with 6 laps to go. Can Alonso get that car round without any issues? He's going to have to avoid those curbs. If he can, it could be a blinder by Alonso. It could be a disaster for Red Bull if Perez does not get third now. So Verstappen's going to pit any time now because Bottas not in a race. That means Perez is going. Sorry, Verstappen's going to go unchallenged, isn't he, for that fastest lap?
Oh, 100%. And by the way, you know, as for as far as Mercedes are concerned as well, this is a massive blow for their
Constructors. Yeah, absolutely.
constructors.
They'll be hoping Alonso can keep Perez at bay though. 11 seconds to gap. On lap 51, 11 seconds. Yeah, hit curb, Russell.
Yeah, that'd be why Alonso was being told to avoid the curbs.
Yeah. Verstappen does currently have fastest lap, by the way, but they'll still pit him because Hamilton, as for all we know, can just go out and bang a lap in. Latifi's tyre's gone. Latifi's tyre's gone.
Jesus. Do you think he's hit a curb as well?
Tyres are popping. Tyres are popping. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Bottas out of the race then. Hamilton leads. Verstappen in second, 10 seconds to gap. Alonso still leads by 11 seconds, by 9 seconds over Perez with 5 laps to go. Can Alonso hold on and get a first podium since he's returned back to Formula One? And has Red Bull made have they made a major error in pitting Perez from third place?
I'm just trying to see if he hit a curb or not. God, blimey, that is some sparks, isn't it?
Both.
If that's his front wing is literally just dragging. That's totally screwing his front wing up.
Those laps were those that were 32 laps old. Those hard tyres for Latifi. 32 laps old. Alonso's car is currently on 29 laps old. So it's going to be nip and tuck for Alonso to get through to the end on those tyres. 29 laps. Those tyres went pop with 32 laps old for Latifi. Alonso's tyres are 29 laps old.
See, Norris,
Wow.
he's currently down in 10th. He was sitting pretty in 4th place.
Yeah, but that's because he's pitted, but a load of people in front of him haven't pitted.
Yeah, but with only a few laps to go, if they don't pit and they make it through, then he's they've just
It's 2 or 3
away. I mean,
seconds in front. It's going to be a nip and tuck, whether or not. But others may feel they need to pit with tyres going. You can still see more happen.
he's fighting Vettel at the moment, isn't he? By the looks of it, it must be tight because
Hang on. I'm trying. Hang on. Yeah, they're just saying about whether Norris or not, whether they felt that there was that where pressure started to drop or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, they weren't particularly old tyres.
8.5 seconds, 4 laps, 3 laps to go. I tell you what, as long as Alonso's tyres don't go pop, Perez will not have the time to catch him.
It's
it's going to be
there's a real train as well there, isn't there? Ocon, Stroll, and Sainz are all in a big train.
Norris is hard
Norris
on Vettel on brand new, obviously fresh tyres. Vettel's on medium tyres at 27 laps old. Vettel in front of Norris has passed Vettel. Norris has passed Vettel. Leclerc is next. Leclerc is on 26 old hard tyres.
Yeah, but Leclerc is quite a way down the track, Ben.
Oh, virtual safety car deployed. Virtual safety car deployed. There's been a puncture, surely.
Verstappen's just gone the fastest as well.
Who's come done what? Presumably, tyres gone bang. I'm trying to have a look if anyone's stopped out. Latifi and Bottas, we both know it out. I can't see.
Debris? There must be some debris somewhere. I can't see anything on this time track either.
Alonso's still third with virtual safety car. This is bad news for Perez. This is bad news for Perez because it means that Perez cannot currently. So while this is going on, the laps are coming down. Perez cannot increase his speed to catch Alonso. This is going to give Alonso. Oh, there we go. It's a Williams Latifi.
Yeah, he must have had.
Couldn't get back. Couldn't get back. Yeah. I wonder if they will. Yeah,
they'll finish. They may well finish behind the safety car now.
Yeah. So Alonso at this rate, he's going to get third unless he gets a puncture.
But behind the virtual safety car, he's at 40% speed and there's no overtaking.
No.
I didn't see. I'm just looking at the replay with Latifi.
So Verstappen's pitting, which we expected. Verstappen's pitting. Will they pit Hamilton next, though? Will they pit Hamilton next?
Is there any point?
Because there's still time to pit Hamilton to get fastest lap. They pitted him a lap earlier.
Yeah, but with the virtual safety car, he may not even get a chance to put in the flying lap.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Verstappen's got the fastest lap as it is anyway at the moment.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, I don't know. He's not going to get a fast... Well, he's already got the purple lap, but he's not going to
that's what I mean.
it.
That's what I mean.
It's always a risk, isn't there, when you go into the pits, because if something goes wrong, or a wheel gets jammed or something like that.
Yeah, Hamilton's just radioed through about having soft... but obviously they can't do that because of the virtual safety car. If it goes green while he's in the pits, then Verstappen will overtake him.
Exactly. No, just at this point, it's too big a risk. You're better off just going through to the check.
For sake point 5, virtual safety cars ended.
Yeah. Just get through to the safety car. Just get through the checkered flag even, shall I say.
Oh. And that surely is going to be for Fernando Alonso for a third place. And that is a balls up by Red Bull for Perez.
If you want.
That's a mistake by Red Bull for Perez. Big mistake.
Yeah, but same with McLaren, Ben, and Norris, because he's dropped. Perez might have only be one place short, but Norris is 5 places down.
Yeah, but we're hearing that they had to pit because he was losing tyre pressure, so that would suggest that a puncture was imminent.
Well, I don't know how his tyres were a lot fresher than a lot of people on that field.
We don't know if he'd hit a curb. We don't know, but what we do know is Ted Kravitz did come out and say that there was lots of drop in tyre pressure.
Yeah, so well, 5.8. I mean, what are we looking at now? It's
right. Here we go. Here comes Hamilton.
It's going to go down to the wire. This championship, isn't it?
Yep. They need Bottas to be there though in next week. They can't have him lingering down in 10th place again after the first lap.
I wonder if Red Bull will put in a new engine next race weekend.
Well,
Is it next weekend or 2 weeks?
No, it's next weekend.
It is next weekend.
In fact, we've got race this weekend, then next weekend, and the week after that. They're consecutive weekends now to the end of the season.
I wonder if Red Bull will install a new engine into Verstappen's car.
There he comes, Hamilton round for the checkered flag, and that will be that. It's a win for Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen, barring something miraculous, will get second. Alonso, can Alonso hold on for third?
You should be able to from there.
Gap's come down to 3.5 seconds. 3.3 seconds. Oh, it's coming down.
There goes Verstappen.
Yep, Verstappen's got a fastest lap.
I don't even know.
Fastest lap anyway, so.
Has he just done another fastest lap? I can't.
Yes, yeah.
So he done the fastest sector, but
Yeah, 123.1.
there you go.
And Alonso has got third.
Yeah. That is a coup, isn't it?
That's a blow for Perez. Blow, and that's his team, I'm afraid, there. What a drive by Alonso, though. Fair
Got to
play
be
to
driver
him.
of the day, isn't he? Got to be. You got to give him driver of the day
Yeah, you could argue.
because he's only gone one stop, isn't he, today as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Well,
a few who are on one stops who are gonna be very pleased that virtual safety car coming when it did.
For AlphaTauri, they've had a very good weekend. 3rd and 5th.
Alpine,
Alpine.
Jordan. Yeah,
Sorry, they've had a great weekend.
yeah, and that is that.
But no, I think the biggest loser out of all of that was Norris.
Well, again, we don't know if that was we have to wait until McLaren speak, but it sounds that wasn't a choice, that was forced upon them. If they've had a drop in tyre pressure and they've had to pit in, that's a different thing as opposed to a race strategy.
There will definitely be asked about it because it's that's a big call to make. Otherwise,
well, yes, I mean, yes, of course, but this was it's actually got 9th Norris, but there you go, ladies and gentlemen, non-binaries. That is a win for Lewis Hamilton and a second place for Verstappen. We go into Saudi Arabia next weekend with the gap at 8 points between Hamilton and Verstappen. On a track where Hamilton will have his brand new engine that he had in Brazil last week. He didn't use today. So on an older engine today, he'll use that new power next weekend in a very quick track in Saudi Arabia. An excellent podium for Alonso. Bit of a mistake by Perez by Red Bull to pit Perez from 3rd place. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. So until the next time, I hope you all have enjoyed whatever it is you're doing for the rest of the weekend. Thanks for everyone who smashed that like button today. And for those who've left comments and so on. And I will see you all on the next video. Take care.